3, 2, 1. Best of luck, everybody! Have an amazing time out there. Have a fantastic race.
Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the Ashridge Duathlon. Some bad news though to get out of the way. They have shortened the standard distance to the sprint distance. So today I'm going to be running 5k and 2 loops for 26k on the bike, and then 1 2.5k loop to finish. Just because I think by the sounds of it, once it hits 11 o'clock, it's sort of end of the world weather that's hitting. So they want to get everyone finished before then. So a bit of a shame. So I can't really compare it now to previous years, but still, a race is a race, isn't it? So I've got my pack, got my chip, everything all sorted. Just need to get the bike out, get the stickers on, get everything racked up. The other issue I've had is that I did try and change my bike chain to the NRG wax one, but unfortunately I didn't realise that I'd need a chain splitter to then take off a couple of the links at the end, and I don't have one. So the one that I've ordered didn't turn up in time. So today I'm just running the normal chain I've got. I have got the disc wheel on, which is going to be interesting in the wind, but I've seen a lot of other people with disc wheels and deep section rims, all that sort of stuff. So if I'm in trouble, then so is everyone else. But yeah, let's get over to racking.
We'll be questions afterwards. It is basically like a test today. You happy now? Names. What is this? Look at this! Where's the photographer? Mark, this is. Can I take a picture of it? That's amazing. Look at this. You've spent weeks on this, haven't you?
Get there then.
You've spent a lot of time on this homemade banner. That is so amazing. Oh wow, that's amazing. Look at you. That's incredible. I love that. Anyone else got a homemade banner? Tell you what, you win the best banner award competition today. Don't get them dirty. Don't. What else you got in that bag? Anything else? 4, 3, 2, 1. Best of luck, everybody! Have an amazing time out there. Have a fantastic race.
Go on then!
Have a great time, Ironman. Lovely to have you here. Best of luck, my friends. Yeah, baby! Shout out to all of you. Catherine, first time doing duathlon. Best of luck, Lady in Orange. Good luck, Catherine. Good luck, everybody.
Get there! That's loop! Go on, Ben! Push, push! Come on, Ben! Oh, Ben! Go on! Go on, Ben! Quick, it's cold! Go, go, go! Run! Woo! Go, 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 go! Go, Ben! Go, go, go! Go on, Ben! Go, go, go!
Welcome back.
Wow, made it round in one piece, just about. Tough day at the office, but like I say, I did finish it this time. So 5k done, 26k bike, and then a 2.5k loop to finish off. I'm not quite sure on the times, but off the top of my head, I think it was an 18:30 5k, 50 minutes for the bike, and then 9.5 minutes for the 2.5k. I haven't even bothered to get changed. As you can see, I'm just covered in mud and I'm sat on a towel. It's too cold. Probably not worth shaving my legs for that event, if I'm honest. And I'm going to have to let the stubble all go back in, which is great. But yeah, like I say, glad to have finished. Tough conditions. The conditions were getting worse, so they made the right call in shortening the standard distance to a sprint. One thing I have come to realise is that I'm very glad that I haven't chosen to do shorter distance stuff, because you're basically redlining for the entire duration of the race. At least in the 70.3s and I guess the full irons, you do get a break every now and then from the intensity. But anyway, let's get all the stuff back in. Need to take the bike in, wash it down, and then yeah, I'll go through some of the power numbers and all the data and stuff from the race today. But yeah, let's get into that. Right, so it is Monday morning now, the morning after the race before. I'm going to try and keep this brief. I'm just going to go into some of the data, some of the pieces of data after yesterday's race. It's actually a little bit difficult to compare them now because they shortened the standard to a sprint, so I'm just going to try and focus on sort of average pace and then the power numbers across the 3 climbs that I was trying to focus on. I know that due to it being a shorter event, you could argue that maybe I just ran faster because I knew it was going to be over quicker, but I think that's probably the only thing we can really compare this time, so let's get into that. So up first is the 5-kilometre run. My average pace this year was 3:45 a kilometre compared to last year's where I did a 3:56 per k. Obviously last year's was double the distance. I guess you could argue that maybe I was a little bit more controlled, trying to save a bit of energy for the bike, but in terms of the 3:45 pace, it felt okay actually. My heart rate was starting to creep up towards the end, but I did actually I did a few little surges to try and close gaps because there was wind all over the place. So I was trying to get behind people, so I think that's what actually spiked my heart rate rather than the pace being too difficult for me. So I think I could have held on to that 3:45 if it had been a 10k. So I'll take that as a win. Onto the second run as well off the bike, I managed 3:52 per k versus 3:56 last year, so a little bit closer that time. I think that might actually be due to the fact that I've done like no brick sessions really leading into this, so I think the jelly legs had more of an effect off the bike this year than they did last year. I did actually do some quite high intensity brick sessions last year around Ashridge, just to get them used to that jelly leg feeling, which I didn't do this year. Now for the bike, because of the weather, I did decide quite a few days ago that I wasn't really going to take it. I wasn't really going to go too hard on the bike other than the 3 climbs on each loop. So if it was the 3 loops, there would have been 9 climbs in total, but it was shortened to 2 loops, so we had 6. So I'm just going to compare the power numbers. My only aim really was to put out more power per climb than I did last year, and I'll take that as a win then. So the first climb lasts about 3.5 minutes, and it's up to the golf club. So that's as soon as you come out of transition, you into a descent, a bit of a flat, and then you're into a climb. So like I say, 3.5 minutes. In 2021, I peaked at 240 watts for that segment. Yesterday, I hit 283. But annoyingly, I was actually 2 seconds slower, and that was because that was into the headwind. The second climb, which is the much longer one, so that's around 9 minutes. That's from Nettledon to the Ashridge Gate. So 2021, my best power was 248 watts. This time it was 268. Again, though, I was a few seconds slower. Final climb was the short, sharp one up to the house. That's also the one that leads into the final, into T2. So that one does cut short. In 2021, I managed 349 watts, and this time it was 356, and that's around a 50-second effort. So all in, I'm going to take the bike leg as a win as well. I was up on power on every climb. Also, sort of a positive is that due to the weather, I was up on power, but also slower on time. So I was holding more power for longer durations. So it's not like I smashed my way through each climb and it was over quicker, therefore I put on more watts. So yeah, so that was really good to see. Now, how all this fits into my overall Ironman plan is that yesterday was a good chance to test out some new equipment. So like the disc wheel, I was meant to just test out the chain, but I didn't get it on in time. But it was also another chance just to get used to my tri-suit. I've only ever worn it once at Weymouth. It was fine there, but just another chance to wear that again. It was also a good chance to ride in some quite difficult conditions as well, because although these are little races and you might think to yourself, oh, I just won't bother due to weather, when you actually end up at like an Ironman event or a 70.3 that you've spent hundreds of pounds entering, you're not going to not want to put in the effort just because it's raining or a bit windy. So getting used to riding and running and, you know, all that handling in those sort of conditions, I think it's going to be a massive plus. So a couple of things I did learn. I bought a new saddle a few months ago. I was getting a bit uncomfortable on the turbo, but it doesn't really work very well outside for me. So I'm going to switch back to the ISM sort of split nose saddle when I actually do a race. I'll keep this one on the turbo, then switch it out when I'm actually going into an event. And also, don't just use normal running shoes for an event like this. I figured I'll just put the laces on a little bit loose and I'll be able to slip them straight on, but not having elastic laces or the little quick release lace thing basically cost me probably 20-30 seconds. I had a look actually earlier, that's cost me like 5 places overall just because I couldn't get my second shoe on, which is a little bit annoying. So up next, I'm actually planning like a pretty solid 2 to 3 week little training block, try and make sure I hit every single workout that I actually plan for once. And then I'm actually going to repeat my test week from a few months ago. I think it was the end of last year I'd finished them all, but that'll be a 100 metre and 400 metre swim time trial. There'll be a ramp test on the bike, maybe even doing the 20-minute FTP test as well. And then I'm going to get out and do a park run at a specific heart rate like I did towards the end of last year. I may even do an all-out park run and just see where I'm at, basically just to test the fitness, test that this actual train is actually making some improvements. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.